Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. The morning light slipped gently through the curtains, but for Jennifer Arnold, the day felt darker than most. She sat quietly by the window, hands wrapped around a cooling mug of coffee, her thoughts louder than the city waking outside. For someone known for her warmth, resilience, and unshakable spirit, this moment felt different. This time, Jennifer wasn't offering reassurance or hope. She was searching for it herself. When she finally shared her update, the words were simple, but the emotion behind them was unmistakable. "My heart is heavy," she wrote. It was a sentence that stopped people in their tracks. A woman known for strength. Jennifer Arnold has long been admired for her courage. As a beloved television personality, medical professional, and advocate, she has built a reputation rooted in compassion and perseverance. Over the years, fans have watched her face extraordinary challenges, health battles, personal struggles, and life-altering moments, yet she always emerged with grace. That's why this update felt different. There was no polished optimism, no reassuring smile behind the words, just honesty. Raw, aching honesty. Those close to Jennifer knew that the past months had been quietly difficult. She had continued to show up, to work, to care for others, even as the weight of her own emotions grew heavier. But like so many who are used to being strong, she carried her pain silently, until it could no longer stay hidden. The quiet breaking point. Pain doesn't always arrive loudly. Sometimes it creeps in through exhaustion, unanswered questions, or losses that don't make headlines. For Jennifer, it was a culmination of moments, some deeply personal, others shaped by circumstances beyond her control. Friends describe her as thoughtful but distant in recent weeks. Her laughter came slower, her eyes lingered longer on nothing in particular, as if she was holding herself together by sheer will. And then came the moment when she decided to speak. In her update, Jennifer didn't reveal every detail. She didn't need to. The truth was already there between the lines. Heartbreak doesn't require explanation, it recognizes itself. A heavy heart carries many stories. Heartbreak doesn't always mean one single loss. Sometimes it's the ache of watching things change. Sometimes it's grief mixed with frustration, hope tangled with fear. Jennifer's words resonated because they reflected a kind of pain many know but struggle to name. There are days when strength feels like a performance, days when resilience feels like survival, not triumph, days when even the bravest hearts feel tired. Jennifer acknowledged that weight without pretending it was lighter than it was, and in doing so, she gave others permission to do the same. Support comes flooding in. The response was immediate. Messages poured in from fans, colleagues, and loved ones around the world. People shared their own stories of heaviness, reminding Jennifer and each other that pain is universal, and so is compassion. You're not alone. Take all the time you need. Your strength is still there, even on the hard days. What stood out most wasn't just the volume of support, but its sincerity. Jennifer had spent years lifting others up. Now the world was returning that kindness. Behind the public figure. It's easy to forget that public figures feel pain just as deeply as anyone else. The difference is that their vulnerability unfolds under a spotlight. Jennifer's update was a reminder that behind every familiar face is a human heart capable of breaking, healing, and breaking again. Those close to her say she didn't share her message for attention. She shared it because silence had become too heavy, because honesty felt like the only way forward. "She's always been there for everyone else," one friend shared. This time, she needed space to feel her own pain. Choosing honesty over perfection. In a world that often demands constant positivity, Jennifer's words stood out precisely because they weren't wrapped in silver linings. She didn't say everything would be okay. She didn't promise quick healing. She simply acknowledged where she was. And that, in itself, was powerful. Sometimes healing begins not with solutions, but with truth, with allowing yourself to say, "This hurts," without apology. The strength in vulnerability. Jennifer's story has always been one of resilience, but resilience doesn't mean invincibility. It means continuing even when the path is uncertain. It means allowing yourself to pause when your heart feels too heavy to carry alone. Her update wasn't a sign of weakness, it was an act of courage. By sharing her pain, Jennifer reminded the world that vulnerability is not the opposite of strength, it is part of it. A time for reflection. Those who know Jennifer say she is taking time now, time to reflect, to rest, to reconnect with herself away from expectations. Whether through quiet moments, conversations with loved ones, or simply allowing emotions to surface, she is giving herself what she so often gives others: care. This chapter may be painful, but it is also honest, and honesty, while uncomfortable, has a way of opening doors to healing. Fans find themselves in her words. Perhaps the most profound impact of Jennifer's update is how deeply it resonated with people who have never met her. Social media filled with comments from individuals who saw themselves in her words, people carrying silent grief, exhaustion, or uncertainty. "Thank you for saying what I couldn't," one message read. Another said, "Your honesty made me feel less alone today." In moments like these, connection becomes healing, not because pain disappears, but because it is shared. What comes next is unknown. Jennifer has not outlined what the future holds, and that uncertainty feels intentional. Some journeys don't need immediate direction. Some chapters exist solely to be felt. What is clear is that she is surrounded by love, by people who see her not just as an inspiration, but as a human being deserving of rest and understanding. And while her heart may feel heavy now, it is also full, with empathy, experience, and a depth that only comes from living fully, even through pain. A quiet hope. Even in the midst of heartbreak, there is something quietly hopeful about Jennifer's update, not because it promises an easy ending, but because it acknowledges reality. Pain is part of life. Healing is also part, and so is the courage to keep going. Jennifer Arnold's heavy heart tells a story, not of defeat, but of humanity, of a woman brave enough to admit she is hurting, and strong enough to trust that brighter days can still come, even if she can't see them yet. And sometimes that trust, fragile, trembling, but real, is enough to carry us forward.